Hey everybody, it's Brent Harvey with A-Hole Productions, and today is Tuesday, Technique Tuesdays, where we do that fun thing which we learn about acting stuff. All right, my favorite, right? I've said that before, but we're doing it again. All right, so today I want to talk about conflict. I've touched upon this in earlier lessons where we talked about internal conflict. What I want to talk about is external and internal conflict. External conflict, as I talked about in the lesson of where you come from, where you're going to, is where you're trying to achieve something, but people, things, elements, the weather, whatever, get in the way. If you look at Lord of the Rings, they have a lot of external conflict. They have the bad guys, they have the weather, they have the ring, they have each other, they're fighting each other. External conflict is what's comes and goes. It's trying to stop our hero from achieving their goal, right? But it comes and goes. As I said, it comes and goes. They overcome something. The story kind of takes a break, and then another conflict comes along as they go along their ride. However, there's a difference between the external conflict and the internal conflict. Now, the internal conflict doesn't leave until probably the end of the story, when the hero discovers or changes themselves, right? If you've ever seen the movie Die Hard, Die Hard is a perfect example of this. I think this is one of the greatest screenplays ever written, because it captures so much. Those of you that understand or have studied screenwriting with plant and payoff and characters. But if you look at Die Hard, he's got a lot of external conflicts. He's got the terrorists, he's got the building he's in, he's got bombs, he's got the fact that he doesn't have any shoes, and so he has to run across broken glass. He's got a lot of external conflicts. But then there's a great scene after he has to run across a bunch of glass. He cuts his feet open. He's sitting in a bathroom pulling glass out of his feet. He's talking to the cop on the ground, and the internal conflict shows up big time. It shows up at the beginning, it shows up throughout, but this is a great scene that shows it, where he talks about his relationship with his wife somewhat, but he doesn't tell him everything, but you can see it in him. He talks about they're separated. He came out to see his wife, hopefully save his marriage, and then this thing happened. Internal conflict is something that is a battle we fight within. And in real life, we do fight that all the time. That's why I started doing these videos, is to hopefully stop some of that, because our internal conflict, especially as artists, is very damaging. We don't believe we can do it. We want to, like our soul, we want to be actors, we want to be artists, whatever it is. But then we have the voices of our religion, or our mom and dad, or our society or government or whatever it is, telling us it can't be done, and we have this internal conflict. Am I good enough? I didn't book that role because they didn't like me. I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too tall, I'm too brown, I'm too white, whatever it is. Like there's always this debate going on within us that we have, is called internal conflict. Now, how do we create that with characters? Well, it's simple. This goes back to the relationships. If you develop your relationship with another character and say, I love them, and I love them for all these reasons, you're going to have a relationship, but you will not have internal conflict. But if you create a love-hate, or a love irritation, or an irritation, enjoyment type thing, that's where internal conflict comes in. If I was to ask you, how you feel about your mom, right? This is what we all, not all of us, but most of us do. I love my mom, but she irritates me, or she never listens to me, or she does things that make no sense to me, right? We always say, I love them, but. That's internal conflict. That's internal conflict with that person. We say, I love you, but I can't stand to be around you right now. Or, I hate you, but I can't cut you out of my life. I love you too much. Internal conflict is created by understanding both ends of the spectrum, or at least, I said before, if you look at love and hate as a spectrum, if you find different elevations of that, it's not always 100% love. Maybe it's a stranger that you you just met and you like them, but they also kind of irritate you, like a first date or something like that. You're really attracted to this woman, but she's kind of dumb, you know, or this guy, he's really charming, but he doesn't have a job and he lives with his mother. Like there's internal conflict right there. And we can do that with ourselves as well. If we look at our own character, we can do that with ourselves. If you look at the Die Hard thing, it's like, you know, I love my wife, but like she doesn't talk to me anymore, and I should have been a better husband. I wish I would have, you know, been there for her. I wish I wouldn't have left her with the kids all the time and been working all the time. Like we can create internal conflict with other characters, and we can create it within ourselves. And I really emphasize this because you, the actor, can't really control the external conflict as far as the story, because unless you've written it, you can create the relationship with those external conflicts. However, you get to create that internal conflict that brings things to life. I talk about the movie Her. I talked about that before, which is great because you can see the internal conflict he has. If you watch Apocalypse Now, you see the internal conflict within that main character when he goes to kill the bad guy. Great characters have internal conflict because we as human beings have internal conflict naturally. Look at Chinatown. He's internally conflicted all over the place. So I challenge you, when you're working on your scripts, your characters this week, create your internal conflict. You know, create the relationship with the external conflict, but create your own. Even if it's not there, even if it's not clearly in the script, create it just to add more layers to your character. You know, when you find these relationships, dig deep. You know, find 15 layers of why you love them. Find 15 layers of why you don't love them, or why they irritate you, whatever. And watch how those things, just by having two ends of the spectrum firing at the same time, how you're pushed and pulled externally and internally. It's amazing. Okay, so have fun with that, but that's your homework. So get a scene, create the relationships, create the internal conflict. Make sure they are strong choices too. Don't just make it, I love him, I hate him. Like, tell me why specifically. Create events that they did that made you hate them. Create events or actions that caused you to fall in love with them. Okay? So, clear and precise. All right? So, do the work. Leave comments and questions below. Let me know how it goes for you. And if you have any questions, love to answer them. All right? And you might be asking a question somebody else might have. So, please don't hesitate. Until next time, remember, here at A-Hole Productions, our goal is to inspire and influence others to be motivated to follow their dreams and do great things in the world, because we care and we want to see this world become a very creative, artistic place. So if you like this video, please share it with other people, like it, make it go viral. I don't know, whatever it is we're doing these days with social media. So until next time, stay conflicted within yourself artistically, but not personally. Let that go, put it on the page, put it in your work. All right? Brent Harvey with A-Hole Productions. I'll see you next time. Bye.